And he's also been
Oh,
quoted as
come
saying,
on. You got to be kidding. Really?
No. He's the chief science czar for Codex, and he also actually declared in 1994 that nutrients were toxins. He said that nutrition is not relevant to health, and most nutrients are toxins. This is the guy that's the head scientist that's making the decisions for Codex. Okay, here's the danger. Herbs are not dangerous. Okay, drugs are dangerous, but we are being brainwashed to such an extent that these scientists are telling us that herbs are dangerous, that we must have
or they don't do anything.
They're telling us that a world guider, a world body like the FDA, but it's on a world scale, must tell us what we can and can't take for our own health. There have been 0 deaths from supplements. Okay? Supplements have never had a death. We have statin drugs. We have Vioxx, which we've talked about before, has killed 60,000 people since it was legalized. And by the way, it was legalized on research fraud committed by Dr. Scott Rubin. That was uncovered in 2010 in the spring, that he had fabricated all of the research studies when he was a scientist for Pfizer Speakers Bureau, and he was in charge of the Vioxx trials, and he fabricated all of the studies that eventually led to Vioxx being approved and then killed 60,000 people. Turns out later he didn't have any test patients. He fabricated everything about the studies.
What happened to him?
Oh, I think they fined him a couple $100,000 and slapped his hand and said, "Don't do that again."
I mean, that's tantamount to murder, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is.
Or at least manslaughter. Jeez.
It is murder, and that is the sad thing about it. Now, back to Codex. If Codex is implemented, it's under Napoleonic Code, which basically means if something's not mentioned, it's illegal. Okay, we live under common law here in the States, and so if something's not mentioned, it's okay. But under Napoleonic law, if something's not mentioned, it is by definition forbidden. So in order to have vitamin C legal, you have to get it approved. In order to have ginger legal, you have to get it approved. In order to have resveratrol legal, you must get it approved, and the approval process would cost anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 per nutrient.
Which will knock those people right out of the water.
Which will knock them out of the water.
Yeah.
And now here, do we have time to go into one more thing?
Yeah.
This is the scary thing. This is very, very similar to what Jesse was talking about last hour, the Federal Reserve. Here, this is very similar to what happened with the Federal Reserve. What we are seeing happen now is with the Federal Reserve Act, the same thing that happened there. When the Federal Reserve Act was initially, when they tried to pass it, it failed miserably because it was linked to the congressmen that were affiliated with the bankers.
That's right.
I believe it was originally called the Aldrich Bill. And so since Aldrich was identified with big business and the bankers, the people were outraged. Congress voted it down. But just as Congress does today, back then they did the same thing. They took the bill, they rearranged the paragraph, they took his name off, and then they found a couple Democrats, I think Carter Glass and Owen, and they called it the Glass-Owen Bill. And so people knew that the Democrats represented the common man. Then the Glass-Owen Bill passed. And that's the same thing they're trying to do now with Codex. They know that people are against Codex, so now they're trying to sneak the same legislation in, but they're trying to piggyback other bills. They're trying to rename it. They're getting executive orders to do exactly the same thing, but it's just kind of going in covertly so that people don't pay attention to what's going on.
What do you recommend? What are some of the herbs out there that would help fight cancer? I'm not going to say they're cures, but what are some of the herbs out there that would help?
Wow, there's a ton of them. Chrysin is an excellent herb that's found typically in New Zealand that is a very, very good cancer fighter. Dindylmethane is an excellent herb for cancer. Resveratrol, which we talked about earlier, it's basically a phytonutrient.
What about vitamin D? I hear great things about that.
Vitamin D is fantastic with fighting cancer. As a matter of fact, there was a Creighton University study done in 2009 that I believe 77% of cancers could be eliminated with proper dosage of vitamin D. Turmeric, right? The curry.
Yeah, you know that.
So you use Indian food, great with fighting cancer. Selenium quercetin is another herb that's great at fighting cancer. Gosh, burdock root, sheep sorrel, all great at fighting cancer. There are so many herbs that have anti-cancer effects. It would be hard. We could probably do a 3-hour show on all the herbs and talk about the way that they all fight cancer.
We are tonight.
Limitless herbs.
We're doing that tonight, Ty.
We are, yeah, and I'm enjoying it, George. I'm enjoying it.
The push,
aloe vera.
The doctors. Let me ask you about the doctors, though, who are medical doctors who are, just dabbling in homeopathy a little bit, natural remedies. How many are out there, percentage-wise? A lot?
Oh, I don't know, George. I don't have any idea. I know a lot of homeopathic doctors, but I'm not sure the percentage.
Is it growing?
Yeah, it's definitely growing. It's most definitely growing. Over the past 5 years, since I initially published the book, it's growing by leaps and bounds.
Well, we've got a couple doctors that we've talked to, Dr. Leonard Coldwell, who, is convinced that cancer can be cured. It's easy. It's a fungus. And
that's the same theory that Dr. Tullio Simoncini has.
Yep, he's been on the show, too.
Has he? Yeah, he treats cancer with baking soda.
Yep, he sure does.
Yep.
He sure does. And I guess I would try that first before I do anything else.
Here's the thing, George. You can try naturals. Some of them will work, some of them won't, but none of them will hurt you. So you can always mix.
What you don't want to lose, though, Ty, is time, because I guess time would be precious.
I was leading to that. You don't want to. If you have a stage 4 aggressive cancer, you don't want to play around and say, well, let me try this, let me try that. So you want to find out exactly what treatment you should be on for your type cancer and hop on it. If you're doing conventional, it's kind of what I was referring to. You can supplement conventional with most different herbals, different naturals, and it's not going to have any kind of an effect, a detrimental effect to the chemo. If anything, it's going to help mitigate the harmful effects of the chemotherapy. I mean, there are many herbs that will actually help mitigate the effects of chemotherapy.
Next hour, Dr. Michael Farley joins us. Ty's website, by the way, cancertruth.net, and also amazingcancercures.com. We'll be back in a moment with Ty Bollinger and also Dr. Michael Farley as we continue talking about your health right here on Coast to Coast AM. I'm George Norrie. Don't touch your dial. We'll be right back.